he had his experience, because he had a full near-death experience. Now, I contacted Eben for this book, and I have a section on Eben here, and Eben read through it to make sure he was happy with it. In this section, I note similarities between Eben Alexander's experience and DMT experiences. Very, very similar. There's something called the chrysanthemum effect that is described in DMT. DMT is opening the doors of perception. Soma and other substances over the years all open the doors of perception. The only difference is there are ones that are natural and ones that are artificial. Or are they? Is DMT artificial? Not according to the research of Jimo Borigin at the University of Michigan. If you go out there and you talk to people about DMT, people in the know will turn around and say, yeah, DMT is in plants. Yeah, we know it is. People who are really in the know will say DMT is in the bloodstream of mammals, including us. Some of the people will say it's in the spinal fluid. But very few people know that 3 years ago, DMT was discovered in the pineal gland of live rats. Rats are mammals. The reason that rats are used in these experiments is because neurologically they have very, very similar neurological structures to ourselves in the sense of the way the brain works. So is it possible that our pineal gland processes DMT? Is it possible that all these supposed illnesses where the doors of reception are actually opening is to do with the fact of a release of DMT in the brain? Does anybody here do deep meditation?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Have you ever come across the thing called the nectar of transcendence, the metallic taste you get at the back of your throat when you go into deep states of consciousness? Okay. That, I believe, is DMT dripping down the back of your throat. It's called the nectar of transcendence. There is a process called Kekara Mudra, and Kekara Mudra is where people are trained to flick their tongue right to the back of their throat to taste this nectar. At the 49th day of gestation, the embryo in the womb has something called the epiphysis, which is an amalgamation of the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. And it sits at the back of the throat. At the 49th day of gestation, it starts to move up into the centre of the brain, and the pineal gland and the pituitary gland split. This leaves a very tiny cleft called the Rathke cleft. If the pineal gland does generate DMT, that could drip down the back of the throat, down the cleft, the Rathke cleft, and be tasted at the back of the throat. This explains that. Explains it very, very precisely. And if anybody's interested, this Sunday I will be recording an interview. I do a monthly show called The Consciousness Hour. And I will be interviewing a guy called Beach Barrett, who is a guy that's done a lot of work on this. He works with Rick Strassman and people like that. Okay? 49th day of gestation. That's the point the Buddhists say, that the soul enters the embryo. Chance? Coincidence? I don't think so. I think there's far more to this.